Hello, greetings mga ka-spacers natin out there and sa lahat ng ating mga ka-spacers worldwide and netwide. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. This is your ka-spacer and space commander Professor Jun Cajigal, welcoming you to another online telescope viewing. And this time mga ka-spacers, my telescope is pointing at our sun. Today is March 30, 2022, and if you will notice in our solar imaging today, isang damakmak na sunspots ang nakikita nyo ngayon. And this is very unusual po kasi talagang ngayon ko lang nakita ang araw na ganitong karami ang sunspots at malalaki pa. So I'm very fortunate. Kayo rin po mga ka-spacers, napakaswerte ninyo. At I am bringing this image of the sun to you live and alive. No? At nakikita niyo yung mga sunspots na malalaki pa at madami. Alright, and samahan niyo po ko in the next 20 minutes at obserbahan po natin ang ating araw. And may nag-message po sa akin kanina, ano daw po ang mga sunspots. Alright, now yung mga sunspots na yan na nakikita niyo on screen, these are areas that appear dark on the surface of the sun. And they appear dark mga ka-spacers because they are cooler than other parts of the sun's surface. The temperature of a sunspot is still very hot though, around 6,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, bakit ganon? No? Bakit relatively cooler yung mga sunspot as compared to the surrounding photosphere? Now, it's because they form at areas where magnetic fields are particularly strong. These magnetic fields are so strong that they keep some of the heat within the sun from reaching the surface. Ayan po mga ka-spacers, no? So these are areas of intense magnetic field, para mga magnetic storms ang mga sunspots na yan. The magnetic field is about 2,500 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field, much higher than anywhere else on the sun. And because of the strong magnetic field, the magnetic pressure increases while the surrounding atmospheric pressure of the sun decreases. So ayan po ang mga sunspots. So basically sunspots are intense magnetic storms dyan po sa photosphere. Alright, so very interesting po, no? Alright, so in a few minutes po imamagnify po natin yung image ng ating araw para mas makita po natin lalo yung mga sunspots na yan. Kasi very unusual po mga ka-spacers. So, ang dami at malalaki pa. Ayan po. So we are now magnifying the image of our sun. And ayan po na makikita nyo yung ang dami talaga. Namamangha ako eh. Namamangha po kaya hindi ko matiis mag-online telescope viewing. Maraming sunspots. So the sun is quite active in terms of the number of sunspots now observed on the sun's photosphere. And makikita niyo po na may mga dark and light areas in the sunspot. Those lighter areas, lighter outer section of the sunspot is known as the penumbra, and the darker central region is the umbra. Ayan po, kitang-kita po na napakalinaw po ng ating image po ng araw. Makikita nyo po yung outer lighter section. Yun yung penumbra, and yung central darker region called the umbra. Ayan po, malalaki yung mga yan. At to give you an idea of the size of the sunspots, mas malaki pa ho yan sa mundo natin. So ganyan po kalaki ang mga sunspots na yan. Right, sunspots again are caused by disturbances in the sun's magnetic field welling up to the photosphere. Yung photosphere, pag yun po yung nakikita ngayon natin, yung visible surface ng araw. Ayan, so medyo maulap po ng konti. So ayan po, nakikita niyo po yung lighter outer section called the penumbra and the darker central region called the umbra. Ayan po, no? Ang dami, nakakamangha. So if you're fascinated mga ka-spacers sa ating solar imaging today at kayo po'y namamangha sa dami ng mga sunspots ngayon, please comment down below. Mag-comment po kayo, mag-react po kayo. No, ako nga din po personally namamangha ko. Ayan, meron pa po. Ayan, nasa taas na yan. So may mga maliliit, kitang-kita at yung malaki na yun. No? So kita yung lighter outer section called the penumbra and the darker central region called the umbra. Alright, so ayan po yung ating araw ngayon, March 30, 2022. And talagang isang damakbak na sunspots ang nakikita po natin ngayon. Alright. Okay, and ang mga sunspots na yan, mga ka-spacers, those are intense magnetic storms sa araw. Alright, sunspots again are caused by disturbances in the sun's magnetic field welling up to the photosphere. Yung photosphere po, that's the visible surface of the sun. Alright. Okay, so ayan po yung ating solar imaging. Ayan, minagnify ko pa ho ng konti para mas makita niyo po yung sunspots in greater detail. Ayan po, so nakikita niyo yung lighter outer section, yun yung penumbra, and yung darker central region called the umbra. Ayan po, nakakamangha, no? Mga maliliit parang cluster na maliliit na sunspots. And ito, meron yung malaki na yan, no? Sa bandang taas. Ito, mas malaki pa ho yan sa mundo natin, maniwala po kayo. Ayan, meron pang isa doon sa taas pa. So nakakamangha lang talaga mga ka-spacers. At ngayon ko lang nakita yung araw na ganitong karami ang sunspots. Usually po mga sunspots na observe ko before, yung January ho. Mga January, February. Okay lang, maliliit. May mga malalaki pero hindi ganitong kasing dami ngayon. Nakakamangha talaga. Lalo na ito yung maliliit na yan, clustered small sunspots na yan. Okay, medyo shaky lang po yung aking telescope kasi mahangin. Alright, ayun po yung telescope na ginamit ko. Ito po yung nasa taas ng ating camera. That's a Vixen 70mm refracting telescope. And kung mapapansin po ninyo, may solar filter, no, sa ano niya taas. Okay, that solar filter protects my eyes. Ayan, para we can observe the sun safely. Okay, so ayan po, ang ganda. Nakakamangha po yung mga sunspots na yan. Alright. Now, again, if you're fascinated, mga ka-spacers, if you are amazed by what you are seeing right now, mag-comment lang po kayo. Just type in your comments or your reactions in our comment section below. Ayan po, meron pang isa pang grupo. Yan, sa bandang taas. Ayan, may maliit as may malaki. No? Mas malaki pa yan sa mundo natin. Ayan, so medyo shaky lang yung aking telescope kasi mahangin lang. And medyo na obscure ng mga clouds. Okay, so ang tanong, may epekto ba yan po sa mundo natin? Alright, so ayan na po yung ating magnified image at mamaya kung na-miss nyo po yan, we will magnify the image of the sun for the second time. Ngayon po, may epekto ba yan sa mundo natin itong naoobserbahan natin na maraming sunspots? Now, these powerful magnetic fields in the vicinity of sunspots produce active regions on the sun, which in turn frequently spawn disturbances such as solar flares and also coronal mass ejections or CMEs. Alright po, yan, because sunspots are associated with solar activity, ang mga astronomers natin, especially mga space weather forecasters, they track the solar features to mga sunspots na to in order to help predict outbursts of solar storms. Kasi po yung mga solar storms na yan, they reach the Earth's atmosphere and they affect the ionosphere, no, yung electrically charged layer ng ating atmosphere, and this might disrupt radio communications, radar, and even electrical distribution. Ayan, so nakaka-apekto din po yan sa mundo natin. And itong mga solar disturbances na to, they may also trigger the formation of auroras, lalong-lalo na dyan sa Arctic Circle. Alright, yung Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis. Alright, and these sunspots, mga ka-spacers, they may form over periods lasting for days to weeks. So siguro mga ilang araw na itong kadaming sunspots. And they can persist for weeks or even months before dissipating. Alright, the average number of spots visible on the face of the sun is not constant but varies in a multi-year cycle. So napakaswerte po natin ngayong taon kasi ito yung peak ng sunspot activity. Alright, and mga ka-spacers, no, though yung ating araw ay isang star, actually our sun is a star. Our sun isn't the only star na may sunspots. In recent years, astronomers have been able to detect star spots at yung mga sunspots on other stars. Fascinating, isn't it, no? Alright, so in a few minutes, i-magnify ulit natin yung image ng araw para mas makita nyo yung mga sunspots na yan. Okay, so ayan, sana nagugustuhan niyo po yung ating solar imaging ngayong araw na ito, March 30, 2022. And bago po tayo magpatuloy, shout out po sa mga officers and crew of the Vedan Society of Young Astronomers, headed by Miss Angeline Kilang. Shout out din kay Mr. David Rioferio ng CRS Insights and World Vision Philippines. Thank you sir, sana tulungan niyo po kung ma-promote itong mga ating ginagawa na online telescope viewing. And shoutout din po sa mga kaibigan ko from the Philippine Astronomical Society, si Sir Dakanay, Camilo Dakanay, and Sir Hernan Dizon. And sa aking mga kasama sa Manila Street Astronomer, sila Mr. Christopher Lu. Okay, and pakiusap ko lang po mga ka-spacers, no? Ikalat natin itong online telescope viewing natin. Like and share para makita ng maraming tao, lalong-lalo na yung mga estudyante, para ma-inspire naman po sila to love the sciences, lalong-lalo na ang astronomy. Alright, so again, here is the magnified image of our sun. And yan, makikita nyo yung mga sunspots na madami, no? Quite unusual kasi na madami po yung sunspots na na-observe natin ngayon as compared to yung ating mga solar imaging sa mga nakaraang linggo, even nung January pa, kasi I have been observing the sun pa nung January pa. So ito talagang nakakamangha kasi ang dami ng sunspots at malalaki pa. Alright, so ayan po, and kitang-kita nyo yung lighter outer section, yung penumbra, and yung darker central region called the umbra. Alright, yan. Mamaya i-magnify po natin yan even further para mas makita nyo yung details ng mga sunspots na yan. Alright. So again, mga ka-spacers, no, sunspots are areas that appear dark on the surface of the sun. They appear dark because they are cooler than other parts of the sun surface or the photosphere. Alright, so bakit ganun? Bakit ang mga sunspots ay relatively cooler than the surrounding photosphere? Now, it is because they form at areas where magnetic fields are particularly strong. And these magnetic fields are so strong that they keep some of the heat within the sun from reaching the surface. Kaya medyo darker po yung appearance niya as compared to the surrounding photosphere. So in other words, mga ka-spacers, ang mga sunspots na ito ay intense magnetic storms. No? Mga magnetic storms yan. Okay, sunspots are areas where the magnetic field is about 2,500 times stronger than the Earth's. much higher than anywhere else on the sun. And because of the strong magnetic field, the magnetic pressure increases while the surrounding atmospheric pressure of the sun decreases. Alright. And may epekto ba to sa mundo natin? No? These powerful magnetic fields in the vicinity of sunspots produce active regions on the sun, which in turn frequently spawn disturbances such as solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Alright, and this may affect the ionosphere. And pag ang ionosphere po kasi ito po yung electrically charged layer ng atmosphere natin, and pag naapektuhan yan, it may disrupt radio communications and yung distribution ng electricity sa mga power lines. Kaya ang mga space weather forecasters natin, they track the solar features ng mga sunspots na to in order to help predict outbursts of these solar storms, yung solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Alright, yan, we are magnifying further itong mga sunspots na to. Ayan, kitang-kita yung outer lighter region called the penumbra and yung central darker area called the umbra. Ayan, napakalinaw po ng ating camera. Okay, I took this image of our sun kaninang hapon, mga 1:30, no? March 30, 2022. Ayan, ito nakakamangha talaga ito tong grupo ng maliliit na sunspots, no? At lalaki pa ho yan. Yan, ito itong malaki ito, mas malaki pa to sa mundo natin. Alright. Fascinating indeed. So kung meron po kayong questions or mga reactions or comments about our solar imaging today, just type in your comments and reactions in our comment section below. And we would like to hear from you, mga ka-spacers. Okay, so fascinating indeed, no? Ako, namamangha ako talaga. Ngayon ko lang nakita yung araw na ganitong karami ang sunspots niya. Okay. So talagang the sun is quite active itong mga nakaraang araw, no? Siguro mga ilang araw ng ganyan yan. Ngayon ko lang na-obserbahan. Ngayon lang ako nagkaroon ng oras to observe the sun. Okay, ayan, no? Ang dami, lalaki pa. And meron pa dito sa, ayan. Nakikita nyo yung malaki na yan. Mas malaki pa yan sa Earth. And nakita yung lighter outer section, yung penumbra, and yung darker central region called the umbra. Alright, so ayan po yung sangdamakpak na sunspots ngayong araw na ito, March 30, 2022. So the sun is quite active in terms of the number of sunspots these days. Alright, so ayan po mga ka-spacers, no? That's our magnified image of our sun. Today is March 30, 2022. And sa lahat ng mga nakatutok po ngayon, maraming salamat po for watching our online telescope viewing. Ikalat po natin ito para makarating sa maraming tao so that they would be inspired to love the sciences. Siguro hanggang dito na lang po tayo. This is your ka-spacer and space commander, Sir Jun Cajigal, saying live long and prosper. So again po mga ka-spacers, like, share ang ating online telescope viewing. Bye-bye po!